Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Whether we are out riding with our friends and family or racing in extreme environments, we all need good tires. That's why I recommend GNCC Power Sports Tires, a division of Greenball Corp. Their products, which include XC Master, Mini Master, and Groundbuster 3, are what leading professionals in the ATV-UTV industry are using. You can get your tires at greenballtires.com or find them on Instagram as GBC Tires for further inquiries. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, SCORE, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and WORCS, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. Welcome to DBR Racing Products, the leader in 3D modeling and innovations. Since 2015, they have been revolutionizing the industry, starting with their groundbreaking YFZ 450R battery boxes. But they didn't stop there. They have continued to push the boundaries, constantly improving their design with each new version. In 2018, they introduced the game-changing Vortex EXO cage, specifically designed to securely hold the Vortex ECU in a safe and sturdy location. This breakthrough innovation ensures your ECU stays protected even in the toughest racing conditions. At DBR, they understand that every detail matters. That's why they also offer an array of essential products to enhance your racing experience. Their spark plug hold downs keep your engine firing at peak performance, while their LTR breather boxes ensure optimal ventilation for your machine. Their LT250 engine skid plates are a must-have for those seeking unmatched protection. Engineered to shield your engine from impacts and rough terrain, they provide the ultimate defense for your ATV. But that's not all. They've developed ProPeg mounts that allow you to use TRX 450R Nerf bars, giving you greater control and maneuverability on the track. To explore their full range of innovative products and learn more about DBR Racing, visit their website at www.dbratv.com. You can also reach them directly at 507-828-1233. Their knowledgeable team is ready to assist you with any questions or inquiries. DBR Racing Products, where innovation meets performance. Unleash the power within you. Braxton Gross, welcome back to ATV Talk. How are you, young man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
No complaints on my end. You know, I'm not the one that's out there setting the world on fire like you are.
Yeah, it's been a great first year. Cannot complain.
Yeah, 3 wins in your rookie year. I mean, I don't remember a rookie winning one in all the years that I've been watching.
Yeah, no, it's been special. The first one was like a little Travis and Bo. They had issues, so I was like, yeah, I won, but it was like, I wanted to make sure I knew that I earned it. And then let's see, the last race, Mesquite was the one where I was like, yeah, I earned that one. That one was me for sure. So it's yeah, held good.
The heat there must have been intense.
Yeah, like it was pretty hot on race day, but like the thing about Mesquite is like when you get into the back area, you're like covered in like shrubbery basically, and like there's just like no airflow down there, and you're right next to the river, dude. Like so much like humidity and just no air movement. That's like the worst part. Once you get onto the moto and stuff, like you get pretty good airflow, but yeah, down in those bushes down there, you're like dying. You're just dripping sweat. It's bad.
And it's rough.
Yeah, and it's rough. This year was, I mean, we followed the dirt bike race, and I mean, I don't think it was the roughest I've ever seen it before. I think last year was worse. I don't know why, but like this year it actually was like it was rough. Don't get me wrong, but it was like one of the better years that I've seen it before. I've seen it worse before, so maybe I just got lucky. I don't know.
I don't know either. Um, Max, I haven't got to talk to him yet, but he was coming on strong there at the end. Did you even know that he was making up ground?
Yeah, dude, like it was so like I started and I put a pretty good gap on towards the beginning of the race, and I would like see them because like there's spots on the track where you see the guys following you, and like forever it was like Bo, Max, Travis, or like Travis and Max I think swapped up a few times, and then on pit lap I think Max pit like one lap earlier than Bo, and or like maybe it was vice versa. I don't know how it went, but that's how Max got around Bo. I'm pretty sure, and it was like 2, 3 laps, and it was like I had like 30, maybe 25 seconds, and he reeled it in one lap. Like he put on like at least 5 seconds on me, and then he kind of like stayed there for the rest of the race because I saw it, but like yeah, I wasn't ready for it for sure. Like I was like, oh, it's gonna be rough. Like he's from Moto. I don't know if he's gonna be able to like hour 30 it, but dude, he was ripping. I don't know. He must have been training for this one because he freaking was ripping.
Yeah, I don't. He must have liked the course. In the text messages that I had with him, he liked it and thought it was a good race. So, but it's always a good race when you get on the podium.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think he'll do good at Taft. He's gonna be if he gets a good start at Taft. He hasn't got the greatest of starts. But dude, if he gets a good start at Taft, like he's gonna be fast.
Because Taft is a flow course, anyways. If
Yep.
you get the flow down, man, you're gonna rip there.
Yeah.
I know Bo loves that because every time we've been there, he's always got a great flow.
Mhm. That's what he does. He's able to. It's just that what the let's see, what's the word? He's got the hours on the bike. He just once he gets into that rhythm, he just knows exactly how to ride it. He doesn't make any mistakes. The cornering's always perfect, and it's just like that's what makes it so hard to ride with him because like you make a mistake a lap, he does not make a mistake a lap.
No, do you think that it's age or the new machine that's causing him to be off?
The bike, the bike, I know he's had his struggles with it for sure, like because like it's obviously way different. Like he has to ride it completely differently. Like the Hondas are just like so good at like rolling through power, like so consistent. Like you could leave it in like third gear, fourth gear, and it just kind of like lugs and like freaking tractors. And on this new bike, it's like way more like there's no rolling on that bike. It's like you got to be in the right gear, you got to be on the power band. Like so that's a big. I think that's definitely a big one. I've rode a few like hybrids before, and that's like the biggest thing. They rip, they're fast, but like that's the biggest difference I think. Like as far as like the riding the bike goes, is learning how to use the power.
So you think the ATV package is easier to ride and easier to keep the traction on the ground.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because it's like with that, and I mean, riding Yamahas, like I felt it like that before, but on the hybrid, it's gnarly. Because I mean, it's almost like riding a two stroke. I feel like that's how most people would say it. Like it's like riding a two stroke. Like you have to be on the power band. Like if you lug it, like it's like, and then all of a sudden it just like hits, and you're just like getting your arms ripped off. So it's like you have to really, really be good at like being in the right gear. There's no like letting the bike just like run out. It's like gonna be, you always have to be making sure that you're in the right gear, doing the right things. I've ridden only a few for a few minutes, but that's what I kind of pictured.
That's a pretty good analogy from everything that I've been explained, that the way you need to ride them. It's the most of the Honda stuff is always been characteristical to just a tractor. You just
Yep.
click her in gear and give her a little gas and she goes and you have a great time. And it doesn't tear your arms out of the sockets. It's manageable. Where the CRF style power, it's a little more violent.
Yeah, definitely way more peppy. It also comes with like the fuel injection. Like the Yamahas, once again, they're not as bad, but they're definitely getting to like that point where it's like more like freaking instant power. Like hitting hard instead of like how our bikes or how the Hondas are. Yeah.
I think that's how they set them up. I believe the Yamaha has got just a super broad power, and if you set it up to use broad power, it'll have broad power. You can make them light switches, and I don't believe that that's conducive, especially for the racing that you're doing. I don't think that's conducive for a good result. You may go fast for 45 minutes, but that second 45 minutes, your arms are killing you because you're trying to pull the machine back to you the whole time,
Yeah.
and it's just kicking your ass. Excuse my language.
No, yeah, no, for sure. And like the hybrids, I've only ridden a few Yamahas, so maybe yeah. Like I mean, I'm sure once you set up a bike to like what you like or whatever you want to ride, um, but the Yamahas I've ridden, I guess, have been more like peppy, like the hybrids. But once again, I've never got to ride either of them a lot, so.
Well, let's just have that conversation right now. You're going into 2024. Honda's only going to support that machine for one more year. Some of the pieces are already getting hard to get. What's the future plan for Braxton Gross, coming up in the future? Because if you go and race back east,
Yeah,
you're probably not going to go on a Honda because the cross country guys, it's a 10-year rule. 2025, you're not going to be able to ride a Honda.
and yeah, I mean, we haven't thought like that far. Like cross country, I freaking did. I love GNCC. Like that stuff is so much fun. The few I've got to do, like that is, oh, I love that stuff so much. But as far as like at home, like we just bought like another bike, like we just found like like a clean Honda. Like we plan on being on Honda for a little bit, definitely longer over here. As far as the XC stuff goes, like next year, like I have a bike that stays over there. We have a bike that's an XC bike that stays on the East Coast. I just got to go over there. I got to spend a little bit of time over there over the summer. But yeah, like as far as here goes, we plan on being on Honda for a little bit longer. I mean, my dad's raced forever, and that's just we have so many of those parts, and I'm sure that's what every single Honda guy says is that once you're just so deep into a bike, there's like it's so hard to just like drop it and start somewhere new because then it's so hard to do that. We have so many parts here. Like if a practice bike breaks, we could go shuffle through our shed and we will find what it takes to fix it. Like for sure.
I got a garage full of this stuff.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I just am wondering long term. Okay, so you get to 25, maybe 26, as young as you are. If you were a 20-year pro, by the time you're 22, you're
Yeah,
out of
it's
Honda
gonna be,
parts. There's,
yeah, we're gonna be out.
because you're still young.
Mhm.
I mean, you haven't even got your license yet, have you?
No, I got my license. I'm almost 17. So
Almost.
I'm almost 17. So yeah, I guess I just got my license, but I am young and I get it. And I understand like if the day's gonna come, like it's gonna come no matter what, where yeah, I gotta make a switch. Um, but we're gonna we're gonna do what we know right now as far as we can and for as long as we can. And then when it comes to that point, then I'll make the decision, by that point I'll be, on my own. Like, my dad won't be helping me as much anymore. But so just when it comes to that point, I'll make, obviously I'm gonna have to make the decision.
Right. Which it doesn't mean you have to step off the Honda chassis. It's
Mhm.
the motor portion that's going to be the problem.
Yeah.
Probably be able to keep frames alive for a number of years. The shocks aren't going to go away.
Mhm.
Doug's probably not going to stop making A arms for them. You can still get the hybrid conversions from two or three different companies. I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that's not the issue. I just had wondered if you had possibly wanted to build something early so that you had multiple years to test it before you had to jump on it as a race machine.
Yeah, no, not not right now at least. I mean, my dad is, I mean, like we've talked about it before, but we've never nothing serious about buying one yet. So like as far as right now goes, we're on our machine and we got it pretty dialed in. And I don't hopefully see myself switching anytime soon.
Do you think that the testing on the hybrids as it goes on over the next few years is going to get good enough to where it'll be as good as the package you have now or better?
Yeah, I mean for sure. Like obviously right now, like with Bo over here, like Bo's one of the main guys who's got the hybrid over here. And I mean, like if he keeps riding, which I hope he does, he's gonna, get that bike down to a science. He's gonna make it work how he wants it to work. And it's actually funny, we have a kit sitting up on one of our shelves. We were gonna build one, but we just kind of just got uh went under the table. But we have a kit sitting up there, and I could see us definitely building one. Not Probably not like this year or maybe this upcoming year, but we'll probably end up building one. But hopefully by then, like they'll have a few more of the kinks like set out. Because right now, also, just talking about his biggest problem is like the way the machine rides. Like he's not finding, because like with those aluminum brackets, he's saying that the frames are like way too rigid, and he can't get that feel like he did on his old race bike. And that's another big complaint that he's had to, like not just adjusting to the power, but I think adjusting to, he's having to kind of not restart on his suspension work, but he's having to change it up because he's feeling that his frames are too rigid, like the bike's not working like how it used to, or how he is used to it working.
I totally understand what he's talking about. It's just like if you take a two stroke and put a four stroke in it, or take a two four stroke out and put a two stroke in. The shocks work differently, so the
Yes.
suspension is going to react differently, and you're putting a whole different kind of power in there. It's just like set your bike up with a stock motor versus a built motor.
Yeah. Everything's gonna change. Everything.
Yeah, it's similar, but it's not the same.
Hmm.
And the extra power, the different power delivery, different weight location because the motor's in a different spot, throws everything off. And yeah, I can see with not enough testing, and I don't even know if him and Doug Roll have been able to go out and do what
Yeah.
they've done throughout the years and put it through the paces. um it's getting more and more prevalent as the years go on because you're seeing people try to build them for the desert as well.
Yeah. And I think that like they were really big, obviously, in like the moto stuff. Like that's where it kind of start. I'm pretty sure, right? Like that's where the hybrids
My
maybe
knowledge.
started.
Well, let's put it this way: we've been building hybrids since the '70s, but from going from the two-stroke to the four-stroke setup, early 2000s is when that started.
Okay.
But and yes, it was all mostly focused on motocross.
Okay.
So no, we didn't do a lot of it in the desert. They did some, but we didn't do a lot. And we didn't do any in works because there was no hybrid stuff. Eichner rode a Lobo 250R the first year. And then after that, it was Kawasaki's and went to the Honda 450Rs. And there's been no hybrid stuff on the West Coast.
There hasn't been like this literally this is the first year. I think this is the first year, myself at least, that I have seen a hybrid at works before or in the desert, like at all. Like obviously I've seen it on, like in the motocross stuff, but here in works, this is the first time I've ever got to see one be raced or ridden. So it's new over here.
Yeah, I've seen some spotty stuff in the desert. The Stewart's had a XR 650 for a season or two. It won a title on it. I seen a Husky, a big bore Husky, but it didn't do so well. It had some issues. Is it totally doable? I think it's totally doable. For the desert, it's a different setup. It's a different package. There's really smart fuel injection guys out there like Jaime from PEP Tuning. You can go talk to him, and with the right conversation with him, you could probably build a pretty good acceleration curve that's going to allow the machine not to be so violent.
Yeah, like how they're feeling right now.
Right, he's a pretty smart dude, and that's going to help your suspension. And then unfortunately, you got to get your coins together and go out and spend the day with Doug Roll, which is not going to be cheap,
Yeah.
and hammer out the shock testing over and over and over again until you get it right.
Yeah, it's gonna be to get this bike to perform how we want it to over here. It's gonna take a lot of just like R&D and just a time on the bike, just making everything work. A lot of the right people, like sorry, the name, the PEP, what's it? Sorry, Jaime. Yeah, working with just the right people. The people who know the best about their portions of the bike.
Right. And the bonus for you is the package that you're running on that 450R Honda, myself, Bo, multiple other people have spent years developing it. So you're not, I mean, you stepped onto a developed product, fine-tuned it for yourself, and fortunately, yeah, there was no huge R&D that needed to be done for you.
Yeah. No, and this is the stepping stone now, going to the hybrid. Now it's my generation. I get to go do all that testing. And so then it's just gonna keep going on, just keep going on like that. But it's my turn, yeah, like to step onto that bike, and then me or any of the other guys who are interested in it are gonna be the ones that put the time in to fine tune the bike and make it work, as best as possible.
Well, your dad's been around a long time, done a lot of different stuff, and he brings you in, and I know you get to work on this stuff. So I think it's going to make it a little easier for you because you're going to have a base idea how to work on it, and you're going to be able to help whoever's doing some of this stuff for you. You're gonna have a better idea to how, hey, I want to make a change here. I want to make a change here. This isn't right. That isn't right.
Stuff
So
like that.
I think you're going to have an easier time than some.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, yeah, all of our as far as our racing program goes, like we do like all bike work, all assembly, everything goes together here. I mean, the only thing that like I really think that we give to people is like our heads. Like somebody obviously would give it to somebody to port and polish a head, and then the suspension goes to Doug. Um, and like wiring harnesses, we do everything. Like as far as like bike work goes, like it's all done right here in our shop. Like it's not really sent out to anybody else. Just because that's how my dad was taught by his dad, that you do everything, by yourself. And also it's very hard to afford this sport now, and then nonetheless paying somebody to do all your bike work for you.
Correct. Correct.
So
It's difficult for anybody to do it. And then to hire someone like myself to build machines for you. Yeah, it's super, super expensive. I get it.
yeah, no, that's what it comes down to. I mean, like it's our like, my practice bikes, we run them until they're freaking fall apart, and then we fix what needs to get fixed. Like we don't skip stuff on the race bikes, obviously. Like the race bikes are always they're perfect, but I mean like it's a tough program. It's not easy to do this sport, and it's not gonna get any better, but we do our best for sure.
So are you a junior or a senior in high school?
I'm a junior.
Oh, so you have this year to finish out, and then next year as well. So you just started your junior.
Yeah, I just started my junior year, so sadly I still have 2 more years.
How is the effect on your studies with
uh,
go ahead.
well, I mean, school is honestly I've never been too great with school. And I went homeschool. I mean, I like kind of when COVID started, like everybody went homeschool, and then I just kind of decided to stay because we just started, we just figured out that it was easier, like riding during the day, getting. But obviously, schoolwork has to get done too. But I mean, as far as schooling goes, like I'm passing, I'm passing school. I mean, obviously, you want to be good, but I mean, like I'm passing school. So
I don't know if we want to delve into that conversation, but I passed school too.
yeah, exactly. I passed school. That's all that matters is I passed.
Yeah, the level of input. I don't think you're a dumb kid by any chance by any stretch of the imagination. It has to intrigue you, and everything you learn in math class you can relate to your racing. Everything you learn in English you can relate to your racing because you have to build resumes and race reports and things like that.
Yeah, it's that time of year too. God, it's that time of year. It's freaking resume and talking to sponsors, and we're all getting to that point of the year right now. So it's a busy time.
Exactly.
The holidays. I used to be so excited for the holidays, and now it's freaking like all I think about is doing sponsorship stuff all year long.
Yeah, nothing's changed, and you got to have it ironed out here pretty soon
Yeah, I mean,
because the season starts in January, doesn't it?
yeah, this year, dude, it's actually wild. Like this is the earliest that WORCS has started. We're starting in January, like 4th or 3rd,
Oh wow.
but we're ending a little bit earlier. I mean, not a whole bunch earlier, but like definitely kind of sucks. Like we're I mean, our off season has never been very big. Like our summer break has always been bigger than our off season, which kind of sucks. But it's the way it is, I guess.
I think at the end there we were getting 6 weeks
Okay.
from the last race to the first race, and I like the way the XC guys and the motocross guys. Motocross doesn't have to be ready till March. Some of them don't have to be ready till April.
Yeah. The pros have to be ready in March, but then like all the amateur stuff is in April.
Yeah, so they got 6 months to build bikes.
Yeah, but also their season is like a lot closer together. Like you're talking like we race once a month, they're racing like every other weekend, every single weekend.
They're racing every 2 weeks, and they go two, 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 and then there's a couple threes, but they're done. And I think that's
It's
do
a
it in the
lot
summertime,
easier.
do it when there's no school, knock it out, and you know, give people a life.
Yeah, because literally, yeah, right now, our whole this is our life. This is our whole year. Our whole year is working on bikes, and then like the summertime is definitely like the relaxing time. Like off season is if anything more stressful than like during season because you're dealing with the sponsorship stuff. You're dealing with trying to get all the parts for your bikes before the beginning of the season. You're just dealing with building the bike, making sure your whole program is put together, and then obviously the first race hits and then you're kind of almost done with it, and then you're just kind of in season, you're kind of set in, and you don't really get a break again until summer break, and then you work on your bike, and then hopefully you get it done soon so then you can kind of just enjoy some time to not ride a quad, because there's a point where you're like kind of over it. There's a point where you're like, I just want to stop, give me a break.
I had this conversation with somebody a couple days ago. Yeah, I get it. You only want to ride so much.
Yeah,
Just wait, when you get older,
it
that
works.
window closes.
Yeah.
There's a smaller margin if you want to go do it.
Mhm.
The last time that we spoke on the show, you were debating whether you were going to go pro or not. There was, ifs, didn't know if you were going to go back east. Obviously, based on the year, you made the right choice.
Mhm.
How stressful was it there for a little while before the first round in the pro class came to be?
I it was or my sorry, my grandma. I think my grandma's shouting my name. Can I just tell her that I'm in here real quick? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Hey, grandma. Yeah, I'm doing okay. No, I'm so okay. Love you. Bye. Okay. Oh, that. Yeah.
No problem, bud. We can edit that out. No big deal.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. And then
So the
okay.
question was, when we were on the show the last time, you hadn't made your decision.
Mhm.
And I was wondering, before that first green flag dropped, how much stress was involved in making your final pro decision?
I mean, leading up to the year, like everything was normal. I mean, it was like the first race, like it was prim. I mean, it was normal, but like it was different. Like it wasn't, and it was crazy because it was like I wasn't like really nervous. I was more nervous that like I didn't know what my expectation of myself was. Like because I didn't want to think that I was gonna do like that I was gonna go out and do like good. But then I also was like, I know I'm gonna be bummed if I don't. And I rode so much. Like I trained more than I like ever. Like this year has been so gnarly for me. Like I've been riding like in the gym. Like I've been like taking it seriously. Like because we want to do good. But the nerves and stuff. It was like looking at lap times last year. Like I was literally like 6 to 9 seconds slower than Bo and Travis a lap, which I was like, how am I going to make up? Where do I make up 6 seconds a lap at? Like, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do that. But like the nerves were the same. It was just, I just had to make sure that my confidence was there. It was more just like being confident in myself because I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to do. I wasn't confident. And then the first race came and it was just like, I don't know. It just happened. I honestly don't. I can't explain it to you. I don't know. It was it felt like a normal round, but there was just kind of a weird vibe, like just weird. I didn't know what to think. Honestly, no words.
That's okay. So when you go back to the woods, are you going to run XC1?
No, no. I raced snowshoe and I talked to Johnny Gallagher about it and I asked him, I said, what class like could I race? Like, because if I raced XC1, like I'd probably get like smoked, honestly. But I raced college A at snowshoe and I had a failure, unfortunately. Um, then I went back there over the summer and I went to Camp Coker, like the camp that like Action Off Road puts on. Um, and I rode with a bunch of kids that were in my class, and like I just that the Camp Coker is far more like here than any other track, so it's not a fair like see how fast I am. It's like sand whoops, basically sand whoops through trees, and and it's like it's a wider track. And I mean, like there, I ripped and I felt fast, and I was like, dude, I could do good. Next year, if I go back, I would like to race XC2, and then because that's what Logan Huff runs when he goes back there, he runs XC2. So I think next year when I go, I'd like to run XC2 and just try that out because I think that I'd be a pretty good speed in there. And I raced with Grayson Eller, who just won the last race. Actually, Grayson won the last race, and I got to meet a bunch of the guys who raced XC2. Kenny Schick got third at the last race too, and I got to ride with him. So I think XC2 will be a good fit for me. And I'll go back there and I'll see how I do. And if I do good, then sick. And if I don't, then just gotta keep riding.
Right. That's a great plan. I mean, it really is. I definitely love to see one of our guys come from the west to the east and run in that XC1 class, you know, and get her on the box or get up in the top 10. I don't think it's happened.
No, I don't think so either.
It is totally a different world, and I don't think people realize how different it is. And those guys back there ride, you know, like John Galata Jr. goes and rides the motocross nationals.
Yep.
And then he can come out and ride a WORCS national and get on the podium. And they don't realize that guy is super skilled.
Yeah, he's a very well-rounded rider. Riding with him on a motocross track, because at that camp there was a motocross track, and like he ripped there, and then we got out in the woods, and he's one of those riders that just like he adapts and like a snap of a finger, and he's able to just hit his marks and make it work.
Yeah, there's some talent back there. I think that, you know, you look at XC, not to change away from WORCS, but you look at them, they've had 4 different winners this year, and that hasn't happened forever. I know Bryce and Neil had a couple little issues, but they're just fast. And I think it's 5 different winners now, with Walker Fowler winning that last race.
Walker, Bryson, Cole, and Hunter, I think, are the only ones that have won. I don't think
Adam McGill won a race.
Oh, Adam McGill. You're right. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot Adam. Adam did win. There was one race this year that was super muddy, like terrible, worst mud race.
Josh Merritt led it for a while, and then Adam caught him and passed him.
And that was Josh's best race too. That was his first ever podium. Yeah.
Yep. And you know, Josh just ended up getting a 4th at the last round. So his finishes are getting better and better.
Their speed, and it is crazy. Like it is a very fast and stacked, front line. Even the new kids, Wyatt Wilkins, he's a new rider in the XC1 class, and I think he almost got a podium spot at one of the rounds, and I think he crashed or had a mechanical. He was like 3rd or something, which was crazy because he's a rookie too, first year in pro class. And that would have been the first ever rookie to get on a pro class. Like, or I don't, sorry, I don't know.
It was, I thought it was the last lap, right at the end of the race. Something happened. He caught a tree, or I vaguely remember the details on it. But yeah, he's super fast as well. I think that the level that you guys get nowadays to ride the machines early on in your careers make you faster. What I mean by that is, you look at Bo, look how old he is. No offense, Bo. You look at Walker Fowler, he's not a spring chicken. It takes time for riders to get seasoned on an ATV. Well, the technology that you guys are riding now is the same in your lower classes as it is in your upper classes. So it's bringing you're becoming a higher skilled rider when you roll into the pro class. So that means you can be faster sooner than it took before. It's just a theory.
Yeah, like you're saying, like before, like the pro riders were already like on these like nice like race machines, and then like lower classes were like getting to the pro class and then like having to adjust not only in the class but on like a bike. Like they're like on a race, like a full race machine, or I guess
You had to learn. There was such a learning curve to become a pro that you had to be older,
okay.
past the age of 28 before you started developing into a pro, or where you were winning the pro class. And nowadays you're seeing younger and younger riders like yourself start to develop
A little
more
quicker.
skills. I don't know how old Bryson is,
Yeah, I don't even need it.
but he's not super old.
No,
And next year in the pro class, if Mason Jackson goes up, I think that guy's going to be a force to be reckoned with on day one. No, he's not going to be Joel Hetrick status, but I bet you he puts himself in the mix in the top 5 right away.
Mason Jackson, he's a moto kid. Honestly, I don't follow the MX stuff as closely as I do the XC stuff. So like some of the like I'll be able to know most of the names on the XC side, but I don't follow the motocross stuff like as much. So I've never heard of that rider, but is he race pro am?
Yeah, he
Obviously.
won the pro am title. I think he won pro am and pro sport.
Okay, so he was race. So yeah.
And the year before, he got injured and didn't ride.
So it's one of those like comeback, like he didn't get to ride, and then just when he came back, he came on fire.
Well, it's kind of like Bryson Neal, breaks his leg, misses, half the season, doesn't ride, rides a few times, comes out, wins the first race out, and never looks back, and put a stamp on his first title.
And he got this year he got the ride, which I'm sure was pretty sick for his program. Got to ride under Phoenix.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It's over there. I mean, on the moto side and on the XC side, there was definitely a larger amount of like like top tier fastest riders.
Yeah, I don't know why there's so much more riding area, but everything on the West Coast has seemed to have slowed down to a point. When you used to have 20 and 30 desert racers, now you're down to, if you got 5, it's a great race. And
Yeah,
that's kind of scary. And WORCS used to have more than 20 guys on the gate.
it's just everything. Yeah, like it's become way smaller, and it sucks. It's unfortunate because it's like for the kids or for like for the people who are really into it, there's nothing to it anymore. It's not like you're looking at big lines, and there's certainly not a lot of like help over here as far as track support or people looking to support the West Coast for the quad stuff.
I think there's a lot of support. I just don't think that you're not getting the pool of riders.
Like you're not getting, it's just the riders. It's the fact that there's not a lot of riders in the field. Like there's no riders on the gates. There's no,
Yeah, they're not knocking on the doors. There's not 20 guys in the pro-am class.
yeah, like people are like desperately trying to make it into the qualifiers like it used to be. Like it's
Yeah.
not like that anymore.
Yeah, I remember they count back, if you got eighth in the production A class, you were struggling to make the race.
Because yeah, they had all the open A guys that got their chance, and it
Right.
definitely changed.
And I remember one year in Speed World, we got 22nd because we got a penalty for gassing on the track because the idiot mechanic didn't get gas in the tank when he was in the pits. But that's a whole another story for another day. Um, and we still beat five guys.
And you got 22nd, so you're looking at 27 on the line.
Yep.
Jeez.
And there's only 20 spots. So there were 7 guys or 6 guys in the second row, and then the pro-am.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, yeah, you're looking at the pro class. The pro class had 27 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a dream. That'd be so cool to see that on the line. But it's not like
You have seven guys, and I think like that day that I'm talking about, one guy who was supposed to be on the front row showed up late, lost his spot, had to start in the second row.
yeah. Now, like you're like hoping that the person shows up, and if they show up late, it's like get on the line. Like we need as many people as possible.
Right. And yeah, there they didn't. And a lot of the places you guys race don't have a gate.
Yeah, actually, you know what? This year there was actually a really decent amount of them. We've done a bunch of gate starts this year, and every single race that wasn't a gate start, we did a dead engine start. So it's actually been quite an interesting starting year, like just different. And then Mesquite is the only track with gates, so most of the time when we start on gates, it's all concrete gates, except
What, what do you like best?
I mean, like out of dead engine starts or like gate drops.
All three, count them, whether it's a dirt gate, concrete gate, or the dead engine start.
Uh, when I got like my setup pretty good, like a dead engine start, like we got a pretty solid program for like my dead engine starts, like just the way we have everything going. We my dead engine starts are usually pretty on fire.
That's Yeah, I mean, if that's working, I know, because if you get those Honda kicks down just right, it's just one kick and you're gone.
Well, we're on we do electric. We do like it's on a 24-volt system.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Yeah, it makes it even better. It's like cheating, but ours, yeah, I don't know. We got it down pretty good. Like my bike's like, I don't know. We got the dead engine starts down.
Yeah, the 24-volt system with a Honda, even with the Yamaha, it's almost a mandatory if you're going to have dead engine starts. I wouldn't run that system if I'm starting on the gate, but if I'm doing a dead engine, I would run it every time.
Yeah, it's really hard on the starter. So like most of the time when we go to a track that we know there's going to be a gate drop, like for these last 3 rounds have been gate drops. So we just took the whole 24-volt system off for like the ending of the year. Because I mean, when you have that on there, there's a lot more like wires running. There's a lot more that could go wrong. Or like you're out on the race course and like your bike stalls or something and you hit the starter and the thing spins because the 24 volts just like freaking spun your starter, and then you're screwed. Like, so when you don't have to use it, we don't use it because it's a safer bet.
I totally agree. Totally agree. So, are you bummed that you're not going to race at Taft, or that you're racing at Taft, not Prim, for the last round?
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, Prim. that's been our start and our end for a long time. So it's kind of cool in one way that we get to do it somewhere else. I mean, Prim is a cool track, but I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much. It's all the kind of the
Do,
same.
do you know if you're going back next year?
From the stuff I heard, I'm pretty sure Prim's like done for like racing. Like I'm pretty sure I've talked to a few people and they say that it's gonna become like solar fields. So
That's what I've heard too.
yeah, which kind of sucks because it is a sick venue. Like for sure, that place it's sick. Like the dirt there, how everything shapes up, like it's fun to ride. Um, so it sucks that it's gonna go away, but we've rode there so much that it's like it's cool to get to go somewhere else, like for an ending of the year. Even though we've been going to Taft a lot too, but just different.
I kind of feel bad for the works crew having to hunt facilities down when they used to be a dime a dozen, and now they're struggling to get them. There used to be two tracks relatively close in Arizona.
Yeah,
You know,
Canyon's done. That's a bummer. I like that track.
I didn't, but it's bummed that it's gone. And Speed World, we used to go to Speed World, 6 times a year.
Speed
And
World, it's like it's actually kind of cool if you go there. Like everything's still there. So
Mhm.
I got to with this chance over. I don't know how long ago it was. I got to go ride out there and just go because I don't remember Speed World. Like that's how young I am. I don't remember that place. So I got to go, see what is left of it at least and go ride out there with some friends.
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous why they're still not using it. But what are you going to do? You can't fight the bureaucracy sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm just worried. That's another problem why there's issues on the West Coast. Where are you going to go race?
Yeah, a lot of places, and especially on the quad side too. Like a lot of the local moto tracks have there's no quad practice or nothing. Like for us, I think Lake Elsinore is like one of the only ones, and I think they actually just stopped doing it. So like as far as like motocross goes, there's really not a lot of moto tracks you can go practice on over here, which is like crazy because we're in like the capital. I feel like for like motocross and like the tracks.
Yeah, and well, I know why they shut down the ATV stuff, because when you get a bunch of ATV guys and you want them to go do something, they complain. Oh, well, they water too much, or they this or that. No, guys, you don't get it. If you don't go do it on the days that they have it, it's not going to be there.
Yeah, they're gonna shut it down, and that's what happened at Elsinore. I'm pretty sure is that they probably just had people stop coming, and then they're like, "Well, this isn't worth it," so then they shut it down.
Right. Yeah. Why are we going to cater to you if you're not going to be here?
Yeah, and that's for sure a problem. And I mean, like, we're definitely like we went to Elsinore. I mean, a few times. Just it's kind of far for us. It's like an hour and a half, but we definitely utilized it, and they have like a gate there too. So like we did get to like practice some gate starts on their gate too. So I mean, we used it for sure. But I mean, it was us, Austin Baxter. He went and rode with us, but he just recently got injured. So we had a couple other guys, but like when someone doesn't ring them all up and tell them to get down to the track, then nobody goes.
Uh, he came back after his injury and won a race at Glen Helen. Is he? Do you know what his health status is?
I mean, yeah, I've been to his house a few times since he got injured. Before that Glen Helen race, he he's still. I don't know about like when he went and rode that race, but I know that he was like when we had talked to him, he was like the doctor told me not to ride, but I still went out and rode, and so he's that's how we are. We just can't sit still for too long. But I mean, for him, I don't know like way too much about his health like as of right now. I know last time I saw him, he was still in a back brace.
Hmm. Yeah, he must have went out and rode, hurt himself again, and has to take the time to get healthy.
But he raced at Glen Helen. Was there a race at Glen Helen?
A District 38 race.
Oh, I think maybe my dad told me about that, but I think we were gone for some reason. I don't know
Yeah,
where we
there was a District 38 race over this at the end of the summer. I think it was in September.
Okay, September. Oh, what? Oh, what is
I
the month?
I don't remember what day it was. I could look it up, but yeah, he went out and he won that race.
I mean, yeah, he's fast. So I mean, once he gets back healthy, hopefully he comes back to works. I don't know if he will come back to works. He's a moto guy. You know, he really loves the moto stuff, but
There's
I
no
don't know.
moto.
Yeah, exactly. There's no moto. Um, so I don't know exactly what his plan is, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope that he gets healthy and gets back because he was getting on the podium. He was starting to get his off-road legs, and he's always had talent. So you know, you were expecting good things from him. So
Yeah, no, he will be back riding for sure. I know that. He says that he's gonna for sure keep riding. Um, as far as racing goes, I don't know though. And now he's got a kid too, so you know he's becoming a full-on adult.
yeah, full on adult makes you really think about that, doesn't it? With a girlfriend.
Yeah, and especially when he just got hurt, he had a kid too, and you know when you gotta realize that you gotta somebody to go home to. So
Well,
mhm.
you know, Bo's fortunate to be established and have a business that's him racing, and it all. I mean, you can see why he wants to win so bad because it's feeding his family or not feeding his family.
Yeah, no, and that is for sure. Like now, like more like that I've gotten like a little bit older, and I mean I'm still not like old enough to like fully understand it, but like yeah, there's like when he goes to a race weekend, like he's gotta win, and he's gotta do good. And in the side by side, if it breaks, like if he has a bad weekend, like it's a bad weekend. So I mean, it makes it a lot more stressful. You know, that's why everything in his program is perfect. You know, because it's got to be.
Right, it does. Have you thought about driving UTVs at all?
No, I tried. I raced a 170 like for 1 year, and I know that that's not like a big UTV, but I didn't like it very much. Right, racing the 170. I've driven a few like RS1s or whatever, but no, not really. The-
Not something you want to do.
yeah, the dirt bike side though, the dirt bike side, like next year I'll probably race my dirt bike at every single round too. And I race my dirt bike at Mesquite and I'll race it at Taft. Because
What
it's
class?
I race 458 on a dirt bike.
Oh, so you're pretty talented.
I do all right. I mean I'm not winning 458, but I do all right.
To
Fend for
run
myself.
yay, that's still a healthy class. You know, Travis Damon runs the 125 pro class.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
that's
go
the
ahead.
reason behind it is Saturday, literally like we sit around like all day until the end of the day is pro practice. So like that's also just like filling the gap because I just don't want to sit around all day. So that's also that. But I have a couple friends who race dirt bikes who we camp with, and just fun to mess around with them and tell them that a quad kick can beat them.
Uh, I feel sorry for that little 125 that Travis rides. He's a big, strong kid, and he's probably just beating that little 125 to death.
Yeah, I definitely feel bad for all of Travis's bikes. He freaking knows how to ruin some stuff. But he goes fast. But he goes fast.
Well, yeah, I think that. I mean, you ever watch some of the videos of guys carrying lumber, and you know, he could probably carry the house.
Dude, yeah. He is a big boy. On that 125, dude, like he races against uh, I don't know the other kid's name, but this other kid is like he's like younger than me. and he's like this light little kid, and he's on this the KTM, which is like the fuel injected one.
Mhm.
Um, and watching him and Travis race against each other is so funny because this other kid is just like fragile, and Travis is just like beating this poor bike, and this other kid is just like perfect size for it, and just everything's working good, and he's just like destroying this thing underneath of him.
That's too funny. That is
Yeah.
too. So back when your dad was racing, he would build his own bikes and he would do a lot of the work himself.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of people, most of the people that came to the races, they did it themselves. There was a handful of guys like Doug Eichner and Josh Fredericks and a couple other guys that had mechanics or had people building bikes for them.
Mhm.
But mostly people built their own machines. Nowadays, in most of the stuff, people are having machines built for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the XC guys have people build their machines. There's a lot of stuff going on with in the motocross world where people will build the machines and take them to the track. I know DeRisi Racing does a lot of XC stuff where they take care of the machines and take them to and from the race course. I did it for multiple people for years as well.
Yeah.
And um, it's not as prevalent on the West Coast as it is
Yeah.
on the East Coast. But the amount of builds that we get called for and that we have in cycle is off the charts
Yeah. Like people
compared to the history.
asking you to build them, like, and especially, is it mostly East Coast people too?
A lot of East Coast people just no, it's all over the world. I have two bikes from the UK.
So it's everywhere.
Yep. And they just send them in on however they show up. Some people don't even call. They fill out the paperwork. They fill out the paperwork, put it in an envelope on the machine, and send it.
Just and
And,
oh, like, they don't even call you; they just send you what they want, and then
and
like,
it shows up, and you're like, oh, okay, where am I going to put this? And no one's coming. And you're like, okay, all right, all right, we'll take care of it.
get it done. Yeah.
And they'll call you 3 weeks later. Hey, did my, what such and such show up? Yeah, it did. Hey, thanks for the heads up. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. It's just funny that would you put your ATV in a haul bikes truck and not call the person on the other end?
No, I don't even. I would not. I wouldn't do that, and I don't even like as far as having other people build my bikes and stuff like that. Like I don't even. I don't like that either. Like I'm just kind of the way my dad taught me. Like I like to make sure that everything's like I've seen it all. I know it's all done. Like stuff like that.
So you come from a different mentality background. Like me, I'm not going to have somebody else build it either.
Yeah.
I love it. And nothing against you or anybody else. I love building them, and granted, not everything I've ever built has been perfect, but I freaking would pretty much match my resume to everybody else that does it. And you have to love it. You have to have passion for it. And you do.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not something. I mean, it's a passion, but I mean, like there's times where you're like I don't want to go work on this right now. It gets hard, but it's like just one of those things. Like you love the sport so much, like you just can't. You just got to keep going, keep pushing through because it's worth it when you get to go ride the bike.
I totally agree. Doesn't your sister race mountain bikes?
Yeah, my sister races the UCI. She raced. Yeah, she's a pro mountain bike racer, and she rides for like Trek Factory Team. Like she does it. Like that's her job, which is pretty legit. She gets to ride a bike for her job. So I mean, that's pretty sick.
Is there conventional or e-bikes?
No, it's all conventional bikes. Like UCI is like like downhill racing. Um, Obviously like you see all like the Red Bull stuff like Rampage and all that. That's not really a part of this. Like this is all like legit like racing, like just she does like XC, which is like like long probably
Cross country style riding.
yeah, cross country, and then also another thing they do is a short track, which is like a sprint, and it's 5 laps maybe or 4 laps, but the laps are like 3 minutes long, and it's more of like a sprint style. It's like it's on the XC course, but they like cut it in half, or even less than half. So that is her. So she does XC and she does the short track, and that's like really big. Like her line of girls, there's like 40 girls on this pro line, and she's done this year has been kind of a pretty good year for her. She's in, I think she's either like the first US rider right now. She's like, no, she's not the first US rider. She's like top 3 in the USA for mountain bikes, and then like top 10 in the world as far as mountain biking goes.
That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Wow.
Yeah. It's in going to their races, they're still like that is a really big industry. They got semi trucks, their pit zones look like supercross pits or even more. Like she has a mechanic, it's legit, it's a legit race program. It is as real as it gets for sure.
And you're probably looking over there going, wow, I wish I had that semi.
I know, and she's freaking like I go to one of her races, and I mean there's like people like know her, and like people will come up and ask for like pictures with her or autographs, and it's like, man, this is legit.
Right on. Right on. That's awesome. Braxton, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know that we tried to schedule this for multiple months, and you're a busy kid and busy young man, excuse me. And I really appreciate you taking the time. I know that you're building bikes and you have school and your family. And make sure you tell everybody I said thank you so much for letting me steal you for a little while.
No, for sure. And I've been sorry. I mean, I've been taking a while too. I really did. I wanted to do this. It's just, finding the time. But thank you for having me on the show. This is anytime we get to talk about and just talk about the ATV world, it's always a lot of fun. So
Well, there's going to be a live Instagram show the week that your episode comes out.
yeah.
So I'll be in touch with you for that. I think that you've been involved with the live Instagram with me. I'm not sure. I think I might have started it after your last time on, but yeah, we do a live Instagram show as well. So
Okay.
that's something that we just talk about different things, because the season will be over most likely it will be over by the time this airs. So we'll know who the champion is. We didn't even touch that in here. You're 9 points behind Damon, and he's 7 points behind Bo. So you are still mathematically alive for a championship.
Yeah, it could happen. It would take a error from them, or like a DNF or something. It's possible though. Anything. It's racing. Anything could happen. So yeah, it could happen still. We never know. You never know until the end of the race. So we'll see. We could hope, but I mean, no matter where I end, I'm gonna be pretty stoked with a third place on the end of the year for sure. So I can't complain no matter what.
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed. You won 3 races. You're doing amazing. You have a 2 very talented guys in front of you. Granted, only one of the people racing against you is a champion, and that's Bo. But even Logan Huff, who's coming off an injury, he's super talented. He's right there. The Stanford boys, they're talented. So there's some talent there that you have to deal with. And with Max Lindquist coming out of the woodwork, he's going to throw a wrench in that last round as well.
If anything, he has helped me a lot by coming out here. He put a spot in between Travis and Bo that gave me some more points. And at the last round at Vernal, he had a problem, but he was like right on the back of Travis. Like if he would have finished that race, like the points would have looked like a lot different. Like Travis would be way closer to Bo, and I would have been the same from Travis, but like as far as Travis to Bo goes, like the gap would be way smaller. He has made a big difference in the end of the year points for sure.
Wouldn't it be great if Max, hung up his motocross boots and came and rode WORCS?
It would be sick. You'd give us another guy on the line and another guy that rips, so it would be sick.
Yeah. Uh, I talked to Max a lot. I really like that young man. And he's only a couple of years older than you. And a really enjoyable young man to talk to, just like yourself. You know what you want, you're passionate about the sport, and you have to love what you're doing or you couldn't do it.
For sure.
So I'm going to let you go, young man. Again, make sure you thank the family, tell your father and mom that I said hi, and congratulations on an amazing year so far.
Thank you very much. We will keep the freaking streak rolling and attack, hopefully 3 in a row.
Well, that I good luck, and I hope that happens for you. That's a big bill to fill in the class you're in.
Yes, it is, but we got a dream.
Right on, right on. Well, keep it up, brother. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right, sounds good.
That was outstanding, young man.
It was pretty legit. I enjoy doing this. It's actually really fun.
Well, you get it. We talked about a lot of different things and went a lot of different directions and didn't focus it all on your year. I think we partially got sidetracked a little bit, but I get sidetracked every conversation, so it's okay.
Yeah, no, and I don't know. I just like talking about quad stuff.
Oh, so do I. So do I. So, if you're ever interested, you can always come down and look at some of the builds we have going on. I'm changing my whole shop at home so that I can do multiple builds at one time and have them in different processes or progress, so I don't have to pick them up.
Got it. Okay.
My
Yeah,
shop was my shop was a onesie twosie at a time, and I might have 6 or 8 that I'm working on, but I could only have a few builds. Like right now, I have spots for 6
okay.
right now. I'm trying to work it out so that I can do 8 to 9 at a time, um, with no issues.
That's a lot of bike builds. Having 2 bikes to build is a lot, dude. 9, I don't know if I could do that. That's legit. I mean, like, yeah, your stuff. I mean, you're like known all the like. It's funny. Like, I got to go to that Rendezvous race. And
Mhm.
like your name that gets brought up like all the time, like Duncan, like because and I'm just like that's crazy. Like you're very well known like everywhere, and it's crazy.
Well, we've won that race 8 times.
Duncan, not all Americans,
7 times with Doug Eichner.
but like a full American team.
Yeah. Well, no. Eichner and Earhart won it 3 times. I think Eichner and the other 4 times, I think Eichner won it with Europeans.
But there has been a full American team to win Rendezvous.
Yeah, there's been a couple of them.
I
Shane
did
hit and Shane hit and Timmy Farr with somebody else that was American did it. I think it was Harold Goodman. Um, I don't know the other American team. It might have been Farr involved or Hit involved with that. And but Eichner's won it with Earhart, I believe, 3 times.
it's been a while since an American has won that race.
Yeah, it's because companies like us don't devote the time to go over and do it.
There
We had,
was
we had a great contact over there that would assemble the bikes and that was just as into it as we were. And Lauren and him would have deep conversations about how they were building it. And they would start building the next year's Banshee. When this race was over, they were already starting to build the next year bike.
yeah, starting to talk about and starting to figure everything out on the next year's bike.
Yeah, we ran Banshees with dual calipers in the front. and big old street bike master cylinder calipers in the rear brakes, so they're running a rotor that was like almost a quarter-inch thick with big old giant brake pads on it. They ran so you run a 520 chain, and that's what a Banshee comes with. They were running 620 change, which that's the big giant street bike stuff.
Yeah.
So they had custom sprockets made.
I actually the kid that keeps my bike on the East Coast, that's what they use. They use street bike chains. They use like big like because I asked them because like we do chains like every 2 races, I think. And I asked him like because it's like way muddy over there. I was like, how often do you change your chain? He was like, I do. We could last a whole year on a chain. And I was like, that's a little scary, but like their chains, he's using that big old street bike chain and it's like lasting them a long time.
I think that's cheap. I think it's because they're cheap, not because it's better.
Yeah, I mean
Especially
it's
in that environment. Because you look at all the guys in the pro class, the XC1 class and the XC2 class, they're running 520s.
yeah, they're running regular. I mean, for sure. Like, I don't know why they do it, but I know that that's what they
Yeah, yeah.
do.
Oh, on the stuff like WORCS, I might go anywhere from it depends on where we race as to how often I would change a chain. Sometimes I would change it every time. Sometimes it would go 2 or 3 times. Like Taft, you could run it at Taft, you could run it at um, Speed World, you could run it at Glen Helen, multiple times because, well, with Eichner, with Sloan, you had to change the chain every time you rode the bike because he's centered up on a rock every time. And every time it would blow something apart in the rear end, whether it was running his Honda or his
Yamaha.
Yamaha. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, like yeah, like after like a Havasu race or like Mesquite or I mean stuff like that, like we for sure change interchain after that race.
Yeah, you're
But
changing. You might as well change the bike after Havasu. My God.
when those years when we had Havasu first round, dude, that was bad. That was terrible having Havasu the first round of the year.
Yeah, because Havasu is just so hard on your equipment, and
Yeah,
Havasu's gotten worse over the years. I mean, it was bad in the beginning. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but plus in 2003 or 2004, I'm calculating here. 2005. No, it had to be 2003. We were there for the monsoon.
Like it would pour rain during your guys' race.
No, that's an understatement. So the whole race course was basically underwater. So I don't know. Have you ever raced Havasu where where the gate where the start is, and you guys turn really early in?
We went back to the old way.
Okay, so when you would go around, you'd make the left hander over the jump, and you'd go down that straightaway, and then you would make that turn by the fence,
Yeah, yep.
right hander by the fence. Well, we used to go all the way to that turn, and that was the first turn.
All the way down to the bottom of the hill you're talking about.
Oh, we would go. It would go the line. The gate was right where it is now, but you're turned facing the lake, turn the gate to where you're facing the fence, the end of the island.
You just did like 180-degree turn.
So they would go all the way to the fence and turn right.
And then go connect onto like those 3 jumps in the back, like you would connect.
Yes. So it was a long ass drag strip to the first turn. And that was, half a wheel with half the wheel was underwater.
Oh, like it filled up like that, like it was like raining, like you were like submerged underwater.
Dude, when we were in the hotel the day before our race and didn't go to the track because it was
Pouring
just
rain.
there was no point.
So then
We
how
showed up at the track when it was pouring right before we raced. We showed up, pulled our stuff out, never put an easy up, never did anything, and raced.
and like what was it, just like finishing basically?
That's all it was to finish.
That
And
sucks.
yeah, Doug and I each got fourth because we got waterlogged. Everybody got waterlogged, and it was just whoever could stay running the longest.
That's terrible.
Uh,
Racing, yeah, that's terrible.
yeah, I mean it was dude, but that's back. I wish that they'd go back to the old program where they ran pro classes, an open pro and a production pro on Saturday, 45-minute races, and then ran your hour and a half on Sunday. So you get 2 shots at practice, 2 more shots to make money. So if it costs you $50, $100 to enter, and 5 guys entered, and you'd get $500
Makes it worth it.
totally. So if you could race 3 times, twice on Saturday and once on Sunday, and walk away, Eichner was walking out of there some weekends with $6,000-$7,000.
Yeah. Well, it's the I think the only thing that sucks is it's a lot harder on bikes, like racing 3 times in a weekend.
Yeah, but you didn't have to race 3 times. You could race your 45-minute or as your practice, and then in the morning, and then the open class. If you had a problem, you could go shake your bike down again. And sometimes, but that was also, I was rolling 2 bikes out there for Eichner. I had a Saturday bike and a Sunday bike.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like a lot. It's a bigger program. You're riding 2 bikes instead of just bringing one bike to the racetrack.
Right, and I think the 0405 Hondas were way more reliable than the 06 up Hondas.
You think they're more reliable?
Way more reliable. The trainings are so much stronger. Not
It's
quite
just
fast, obviously, but and they were, I think, easier to ride because you just melt into them. You talk about that ease of roll-on power. Those oral 405s were just roll-on, awesome power. You can run the same cam configuration with the same big valves, high compression, and put the big FCR carb on there and just roll the power on, smooth acceleration. We put an aggressive curve on the CDI, and it was still like you weren't getting arm jerk out of it. It was fast, but it
but it
wasn't
was
whipping your
smooth.
arms up the socket.
I honestly don't think I've ever built, or I don't think I've ever rode an 0405 bike before. Honestly, I don't think I have.
It's the same basic chassis build. If you're depends on what rear end you run. So like we would run 0405 link with the 0405 shock because it's longer, and you'd run the 06 swing arm style. Aftermarket, we'd run the longer swing arm because when you run the shorter swing arm, it pushes too much in the turns. And we
We
run 0405 spindles because they turn better than 06 spindles.
Yep.
We didn't run the LTO. We never went to the LTR stuff because you're not turning enough to justify it.
That's
It may be more now, but
nah,
we
we've stayed the 0405 front spindles, and this was the first year I've ever put a JB swing arm on my bike.
Mhm.
I've always just ran the 0405 swing arms. We don't
Right.
run them. And I mean, honestly, like a lot of people told me it was going to make a big difference in my bike, and like, yeah, honestly, I didn't notice it like a crazy amount. I really didn't.
I think they go through the bumps a little bit better because the rigid aluminum swing arms don't flex as much.
Mhm.
So it changes the ride a little bit. Plus, that extra 3/4 of an inch longer allows it not to push so much in the turns.
I mean, yeah, and that's exact. I mean, that's what everybody. That's what like exact same thing everybody is saying. Like the more flex, and I mean, like it was just like I was expecting like a big difference,
No,
and I
it's
don't think I think I need to like ride a bike like back to back. I need to ride a bike with like a 405 swing arm and then that swing arm. I was just talking to Bo about it the other day. Because I was asking him where they crack, because they crack like I think he says he gets like half a season out of them, or like maybe a full
We
season.
crack in multiple different places, from in the front, in the gussets in the front of the swing arm, to the middle, to the back where the rear gussets are.
Yeah.
So you just have to watch them.
That's what he told me. It was like they break in a couple different areas. You just really got to pay attention to where it's at. And he was telling me that he was like at um at like Taft is like a track where you would really probably feel the biggest difference if you rode a bike back to back and what the bike was doing. So I guess we'll.
I kind of agree with that, because there's some of the flat turns they have, and some of the way they water the track with the consistency of the dirt. The push is going to come in where you set up to turn because you're driving through the turn more, and it's flat. And when it pushes it, you drift to the outside and then back into the groove. And it's not a grossly like you turn the wheel and it just goes straight. It just drifts to the outside. Where when you have the longer swing arm, it'll turn inside.
it'll
And
keep it'll keep like a smoother what's the word? It'll just be a more consistent corner instead of like when you try to set up the bike, it's just gonna push.
right, you'll set up like you normally would to drift through the turn, and as you come from drifting to driving with the 0405, the drive is to the outside because it's just carrying it out there because you don't have the length in the swing arm. The front wheels don't get to bite, and when you're put the longer swing arm on there, it'll stay in the groove and drive through the turn.
So I mean, yeah, I'll definitely, and I have a practice bike, so I'll probably ride my practice bike because I want to know, I want to like see if I can really feel a difference. So I'll probably ride my
I
practice
think a
bike.
portion of your I think a portion of your body English and the way you ride is so accustomed to the shorter swing arm, you're probably moving your body forward in the turns, forcing the front tires to bite. So that's probably one of the reasons why you're not noticing it, is because
It's
you're so
like,
used to it. You're already overcompensating for the push to get the front end to bite ahead of time.
and that's yeah, that's another thing. That's the veterans thing. That's the Bo thing. Bo knows exactly how that bike is gonna freaking hit the corner. He knows what it's gonna do. And I'm still like trying to I'm trying to figure it out still. I'm trying to figure out the most effective way to get through.
You're automatically doing things that your mind doesn't realize you're doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like I know that for sure. Like the cornering and stuff, like my dad like just burned in like aggressive, like lean, like the biggest part of like my learning was just like the basics. Like I feel like I'm a really technically sufficient rider, like because that's all my dad taught me. Like he was like very on the technique portion of the riding.
And that's what it all is. Corner speed is going to beat straight line speed every time,
Yeah, no,
because
for sure.
most people walk through the turns, and you need to drive through the turn. This the sooner you're back in the throttle, the faster, and the longer you leave it on going into the turn, the better. One of the things that you when you watch Bo is he's like, here's the best comparison. Mike Sloan used to go through the turns and freaking dirt be flying everywhere. He's sideways and everybody's, God, that guy's hauling ass. And Bo would come through the turn, no dust, no roost, no nothing. And you're like, whoa, how come that guy's so far out in front? Because he maintained a level speed and the best line through the corner. So actually, when you timed the entrance from Mike to him, Mike was losing a couple tenths.
When he was like it looked like he was shredding, but like he was maybe losing traction and getting a little out of control. He'd have to like almost slow down a little bit, get back into control. When Bo was just consistently just like all the way around the corner, never letting off the gas, consistently through the
Yeah,
corner.
drive through the turn at half throttle and never get out of shape, never lose it, never throw excessive roost. And Mike's on the outside of the berm, with that bitchin' photo shot with the dirt rolling off the tire, you know the shot I'm talking about. And the magazine glory shot. And so when you're out there and you're throwing all that roost and you're doing all that, and then Bo comes through on the bottom in the groove, you tell me he's traveling an extra 10 to 12 feet through the turn. And that's, sideways scuffing speed off of the berm is not faster
No.
than what Bo's doing.
It's funny that you say that, like on the XC stuff too. Hunter Hart, I'm actually pretty good friends with him, but like Hunter Hart is exactly like that. And then like you watch like Walker Fowler or Bryson Neal ride, and they're like, Bo, but you listen to Hunter's video compared to like Walker's video, dude. Hunter's like clutching, like it sounds like he's ripping. Like you're like, that guy should be the fastest guy out there for sure. And then you watch like Walker, and it's like exact same thing that you're talking about right now. Like it's funny because it happens everywhere.
And I think that Travis has a tendency to be a little more like Mike.
Yeah, like a little bit more like just all out. Like
he's fucking hauling ass, and he's fast, and he makes up for some of the inconsistency because he's aggressive, but he also tires himself out.
Yeah. I mean, he's actually pretty good about that though. Like his consistency through a race, and a lot of it comes from the motorcycle side because he's used to racing for 2 hours. Even though he is for sure, I mean, like a freaking hard rider, and he doesn't really lose a lot of stamina. He's like his consistency through a good race is pretty good.
But how much faster could he go if he didn't beat himself up?
Yeah, like if he could conserve, like for sure, like you are right for sure, but like the way he rides, he's still able to contain or like have energy. But if he could,
it's costing him wins.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and as a young rider, I try to like teach myself that. Yeah.
I try to teach as much as I can. So I want to promote you guys as much as I can and take care of what I can on this end. So that being said, if you have information that you want to get out to the public, or let's say you're going to put on a riding school somewhere and you need flyers put out, on social media, hey, hit us up. Don't hesitate. Reach out. We'll get your information posted on all of our social media sites and help you the best way we can.
Okay, for sure. Thank you.
No, dude, it's what we're here for. We got to make it. We got to make the industry grow, brother.
Yeah, that's what this is all about for sure.
Right on. But hey, I've talked your ear off enough.
Yeah.
Go enjoy the family, and I will catch up to you. If you have anything for me, let me know. The team here at ATV-TALK would love your feedback. Please email us at hello@atvtalkpodcast.com. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share us with your family and friends. The podcast is available on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on social media as ATV-TALK Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter.